Welcome to the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast with your host, hailing from Kaukauna, Wisconsin, riding a CST Tires SSI decals traveling back Yamaha YFC 450R, four-time ATV Motocross National Champion, number 25, Cody Jansen.
What's up, everybody?
We're back.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, episode 184 of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, presented by our title sponsor, CST Tires, in stock and available for purchase today at shop.csttires.com. I'm your host, Cody Jansen, saying hello to our more than 305,000 monthly Digging Deep listeners in 151 countries in which you are listening, and this is part one of our 2026 Digging Deep Briarcliff Race Review show. In this episode, Billy, Brian, and I break down the ATV Motocross National Championship finale from Briarcliff. This first installment focuses on the pro class, with the rest of the action, storylines, and plenty of fun coming your way in part two. So let's dig in. But first, let's quickly shout out all of our incredible partners. CST Tires, go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, DP Brakes, and Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing, our choice when it comes to case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com. Support all the great companies that support us, and for any products that fall through the cracks, click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. No matter what off-road gear parts you need, Rocky Mountain ATVMC has you covered. But before you buy, simply click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. By using our specific link, we get a percentage of what you buy on the back end, enabling you to help us out while purchasing the parts you need anyway. And did you know you can buy OEM parts from Rocky Mountain ATVMC as well? Yep, shipped conveniently right to your door. So click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner at diggingdeepatvmx.com to help us out while satisfying all your gear and parts needs. Shout out to all of our donors, and if you are interested in donating and hearing your name on the show, you can find the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee donation links on our website. Major thanks to all who have donated, of course. Now, if you can't donate, but you still want to help us out, you can leave us a rating or a review on iTunes and Spotify, because that helps us out a bunch too. Now, it's showtime. The 30-second board is up, it's sideways, and the gate is down. Time to dig deep.
Let's go!
All right, guys, back for one last race review podcast to cap the ATV Motocross National Championship season here at Digging Deep. And it's my honor to welcome our crew back for one more race review show, brought to you by Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, starting with Mr. Billy Cottage. Billy, this is where I enter some kind of joke referencing you riding a bull or getting T-boned by, at an intersection or something like that after your Moto 1 contact with our buddy DJ Sperling.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm still feeling it. I think I might have cracked a rib because every time I cough, it's rough. But no, it's good. I talked to him day before yesterday or something like that, and he sent me a care package of some rocket parts to say he's sorry.
That's awesome.
But stuff happens.
I got a kick out of because Apex, who did the video stuff, how their clips started, talking about gravity and crashing and whatever, and their whole montage of the crashes from Saturday started with you guys. So I thought that was kind of fitting.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. All right. And brought to you by Rocky Mountain ATVMC. And if you are like Billy and need parts for your machine, go to our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com, and click the Rocky Mountain banner there. We'll get a small portion of what you spend, and it shows Rocky Mountain that you love what we're doing over here at Digging Deep. So Rocky Mountain brings you the newest live broadcast voice of ATV Motocross, Mr. Wheels Up himself, Brian Jenkins. What's up, pal?
I'm doing okay. That was great there. It almost sounded like the intro from like the movie Cars. I was waiting for a plug for Rusty's and those those cars and those great guys for giving them a start. Poor Billy, man. That you're right though about the montage. I seen that and I was kind of chuckling. I was thinking to myself, the catchphrase lately has been "you can't park there," and I was thinking you can park there, you just can't come back on the track there.
Hey, to give the listeners a little glimpse into that whole thing. So it's opening lap or whatever it was. It's DJ, me, Billy. And I see DJ coming onto the racetrack and I'm like, man, just like get by him. And when you look at that montage, you see me just go by and then DJ comes onto the track and there's Billy. So I'm sure many of the listeners have seen that by now. But yeah, that was good stuff. And like I said, Brian, you were on the mic at that time, and I want to formally apologize again. I wasn't signing you up for like hours worth of being up there in the tower, and I think that's what it ended up being. But man, I did listen, like you said, go back and watch some of the coverage and stuff since then, and you were awesome. And Billy and I had actually talked about leading up to that. I'm like, Brian's the guy for the job. To be in the booth with me announcing and racing, like there was obviously like we needed to get somebody else up there. I didn't volunteer you. I asked you and you didn't hesitate and you nailed it, man.
Well, I really appreciate that.
I joked about the newest live broadcast voice, but you killed it, man. And everybody, like couldn't have thought of a better person to plug in there.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I was going to go into that after the whole Billy, montage there, but I really do appreciate all the kind words. I appreciate the opportunity and everything of how that went and came to occur. It was great. On my end, I have a lot to learn with that. That's a whole different dynamic and gives me a new respect for the expectations. And it's a little difficult to fill in those empty silences or those holes that you don't think about otherwise, because that's a lot of times all they have is what you're telling them, because, maybe the prompters are going back and forth and things are happening. And I learned after the first one, even though I could hear in my headphones, they had turned the mic down a little bit because there was a few things going on and they never turned it back up.
Oh, is that
so
right?
I got Nagy, my buddy Robert Nagy messaged me and he's like, "Hey man, you gotta speak louder." And I'm thinking, speak louder? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, there's a volume control over there. And I didn't see him. I think Kevin turned it down because they were going through like an advertisement or something happened. And like I said, it's a lot to learn. And I appreciate the vote of confidence and throwing me to the fire there. But
it seemed like you had fun.
I was going to say I had fun because like I had told Cody, I said, it actually was a hole in my day that I said I would fill in, and, I had no idea how long he was going to be or what was going to happen at that point. But then like there was a bunch of things that happened that people forgot to set up the podium and certain things like, the wiring had to be set up and the speakers, and Kevin jetted because Jeremy come up and he's like, "Hey, we need this done. We got to figure this out." And he's like, "Well, I got nobody in the booth." And I was like, "I can hang out, to help out because I don't want it to be radio silence or anything."
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it came from. And, I wasn't trying to hog the mic or do anything like that. I just kind of like volunteered to not allow radio silence. So I figured me trying and babbling was probably better than nothing, dead silence across the airwaves. So I figured, like you said, I know a lot of the people. I did my best not to butcher any names. And for anybody out there, if I didn't perform to expectations, I'm sorry. That was my first time, totally surprised, unexpected. I did my best, and I did have fun. And I got to call a lot of really cool races and see a lot of things. From up there, obviously the view is much better. So I did have fun. And like I said, I appreciate it. And thank you so much for telling me I did well. I hope I did. I'm waiting for all the feedback to roll in and be like, "He sucks." Or,
that's not it.
You did okay.
That's not it at all. It's so cool to listen. And we could all relate with this. It's so cool to listen to somebody who's passionate about it, Yeah. So when you got somebody who's truly passionate about it and knows ATV racing, like it doesn't get much better than that. And this is the perfect like time and place to give those guys, the Apex crew and Barry and his guys, so much credit because that coverage was so freaking awesome as far as ATV motocross goes. I've worked with them a little bit in the past. Like we know that they were at Muddy Creek and stuff too, but those guys crush it. And like the way that they can go back and show replays and like we're in the booth and they're showing the weather and like all these cool things that it was really, really, really legit, you know, and they have big plans of doing a lot of these races next year, if not all of them.
That would be awesome.
That would be so big for our sport. Like, not to overstate it, but to have that coverage at every race would change the way that people are able to follow our sport. So I really hope that that's a reality. And again, those guys were such a professional setup. They did a really awesome job. So it was really cool to be a part of that. The coverage was awesome. The drones, the whole deal, like those guys did a fantastic job. So that was one of the things I wanted to touch on here. Obviously, joke about Billy's situation with DJ. Make sure Brian got his credit because you crushed it. And again, I wasn't signing you up for that. And you were in the unenviable position of like, I didn't know that that Kevin, the other announcer, Kevin Otten, credit to him because he was really good too. Like I enjoyed being with him and he did well, but I didn't know he was going to bolt on you. So that's the part that gets a little weird when you're all by yourself. And now it's like on Wayne's World, when Garth is all of a sudden like in front of the mic and he doesn't know what to say and, you know, whatever, and his head explodes. That's kind of what it's like when you're all by yourself.
Well, what was funny was I had gone up. They asked me to come up to announce something about the hole shots previously on Friday.
Okay.
And it was interesting to me because when I went up, that's when I met Kevin and he came over and he's like, okay, what do you want me to say? And how do you want this, you know, conveyed? And I was like, if you want to just give me the mic, I can do it and make it way easier. And he looked at me, he's like, are you comfortable with that? I was like, absolutely. You know, a lot of people don't know, or, you know, part of my job has always been, I've had to have a radio on and communicate with the team, whether it was my maintenance team, the merge team, different things that I've done at work.
Okay.
And so I was at first afraid of it and kind of shy and not sure what to do. But the more you speak on those things and you just like become natural and it's just talking. So I grabbed the mic and went with it. And he was like, that was really good. That, you know, cool. I didn't have to do anything. No pressure on me. Awesome. Thanks. You know, and then to come up and do that. Yeah. I it might've been a little bit of that he knew like, okay, he's comfortable talking. So he'll figure something out, or
I'm out of here. See you.
Yeah. When I seen Jeremy's expression though, when he was like, we got nobody for the booth, I'm like, yeah, I'm not letting everybody down. There's no way. Like I got to do this. I'm here. I'm comfortable with it. I can help. I got to help. I'm doing it.
The other thing, Brian, that we had going on. So for the listeners, I'm sure you already know, like we dealt with weather throughout the weekend. Sunday gets canceled, Friday gets canceled. And then we did like track was awesome to start the day on Saturday. We got some rain in the middle. We were affected by that, our vet invitational race thing. So, my full intention was the hope that, and I already said before we hit record on this, like weather has not been really a factor for any of these races that we've been at in recent years, but it was for this one, at least somewhat. So my intention was like, stay clean all day. Don't follow anybody in qualifying, you know, hopefully stay clean in the first moto, like whatever that means, however you can pull that off. And then like go right up to the booth, race second moto, be done for the weekend. And that was absolutely not how it played out. I was clean after qualifying. That part was meant. And I was absolutely not clean after the first moto because it started raining and I was taking on roost and the whole deal. I had to throw my goggles, the whole deal. So then I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to wash my quad as fast as I possibly can. I'm going to rip my gear off and then I'm going to go right to the booth. And that's what I did. And I'm like, I've never had like Brooke and my parent, like it's been a decade probably since they prepped anything for me where I'm not the one doing all the hands-on stuff. And I'm like, put the same filter back in it. I'll come back. I'll throw gas in it. Billy's dad changed my tires. Like, yeah. So it was a full team effort. I was trying to get up there to the booth as quickly as I could, Brian, because I knew you had a race coming up and I wasn't trying to monopolize all your time. So again, I'm so grateful it worked out the way that it did. And that was great. So that bleeds right into my next thing. So I'm pretty sure, Brian, that you would have been in the booth when pro qualifying was going on, right? The first one, because Billy and I were on the gate for our qualifier, I think.
Yeah. For the qualifier. Yeah.
So were you up there at that time or was it just Kev at that time?
Man, I think it was just Kevin. I think that I came up right after that.
So do you know anything about qualifying? Because given all the stuff, like people are probably very used to like our full like play-by-play on Facebook and all the things that we do. And that did not happen this weekend, given the craziness of announcing and racing and lack of service and all the stuff. So I really don't even know what qualifying, how that went down. So do you have any info for us?
I was going to say it was wet, if I'm not mistaken, for those guys.
First one was decent, right? First one was decent. I was in the booth for the second one. Some of the dudes cruised around, but they weren't at speed because they did some practice starts. Half of them didn't even go out there because, yes, it was wet in the wake of that rain that we got. Like, well, Billy and I were on track there. That might have even been after the first moto.
I think it was Joel, Zach, Brandon.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I didn't. And honestly, I didn't put a ton of stock in it because of the way the track was, like the track. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on and haven't yet is I can't believe with the way, it was wet on Friday. It stayed wet throughout the day Friday. Like it was really
wet on Friday.
Yes, it was very wet and it was in overcast and stuff all day. Like the sun came out at 7 o'clock at night. Yeah. Yep. So there was no drying really going on Friday. And we were greeted by an absolutely killer racetrack on Saturday morning. So credit to Jeremy and his crew. The track was fantastic. And the other thing, I don't know about you guys, but the track that direction, I enjoyed so much.
It's fun.
It was so much fun that way. There was such a flow. Like, I don't know. I thought it was awesome.
And the track changes and stuff that he put in there, I thought it was really fun, really racy.
Yeah, I thought you could put some sections together. I thought it was great.
When I was up there, we watched it develop. Yeah. I know there was some sprinkles and some stuff going on throughout, but you could see it. It was such a shame because it seemed like almost every time that the track got really good, we would have some sprinkles come down. Like they started opening up lines, started using other lines to make it even more racy. And then every time that would happen, it would sprinkle a little bit. And because it was funny, I knew it was sprinkling, even if I couldn't tell initially, because the drones came back. Because the drones couldn't, they couldn't hack it with the rain coming down. They'd start getting, water all over the cameras and all that stuff. So it was kind of cool to have a little bit of insight of like, oh, okay, it's obviously sprinkling. Here this comes.
Yeah. And credit to those guys flying those drones and stuff. They must be really good at what they do because one took a digger later in the day on Saturday and it got ran over by a tractor or something. And they were able to revive that thing back to life and they were ready to use it for Sunday. So those guys, they were pros.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool deal. So Pro Moto 1, not a ton on the line for this one, right? Like coming into the race day, the biggest thing that I had on my radar as far as the pro class goes is Brandon holding on to, and that's not the way to state it really, but he wanted to secure that second place position in points. Joel already had the title wrapped up. A lot of what was going to happen, like the top 5 were pretty much all solid with where they were. We knew Noah was going to win Rookie of the Year. Like basically everything was pretty much decided. Like this was a just racing on this day type of day. Like the points weren't really a factor, all of that stuff. But we do know, and that's something that we haven't touched on yet. I don't even know that we covered it really online even. But I got a phone call and we knew this. I think we talked amongst ourselves that Brandon had crashed at the Bartosik Memorial Race the weekend prior. And we didn't know how busted up he was. So and I wasn't going to reach out to those guys. And I told them since then, I'm like, I wasn't going to reach out and say, hey, how you feeling? But I did say to Billy, what do you know about how Brandon's feeling and whatever. And he said he was busted up and definitely was hurting. So on Thursday on the way to the racetrack, I got a call from Dave Porter, who's Brandon's mechanic, obviously. And he's like, yeah, I don't know a ton, so I guess we're going to give it a whirl. We're going to give it a try. So that was one of my biggest things is, we knew Brandon was going to line up, but we didn't know how he was going to be feeling. And we didn't know if he was going to be able to last, throughout the motos and throughout this day and all of those things. So in my mind, like the weather's a little bit of an equalizer, or sometimes it's a little easier on your body. That said, they had a muddier first moto. Second moto was prime, and the track was I mean, for a clay hard pack track, it was pretty rough because it was pretty rutted. There's a lot of ruts going on there, some deep potholes and stuff like that. But that was one of the things that I was watching is Brandon wanted to nail down and finish off that season. Unbelievable season for him, really, and wanted to get it done and stay in the P2 spot. So that's one of the things that we were watching. But coming out of the gate in that opening moto, it was all Mason Jackson. We'll get right back to the show, but now a word from our sponsors. And thank you for listening to these ads. Without these great companies, none of this would be possible. Show your support for the people who support us. The official tire choice of Digging Deep, CST tires are the choice of ATV racing's elite on the track, in the woods, and every other terrain. CST tires swept the ATV racing world in 2022 as Joel Hetrick, Bryson Neal, and Bo Barron rode their Pulse MXR and Pulse HT tires to an ATV Pro Motocross title, GNCC XC1 Pro title, and 10th ATV Pro Works Racing title, respectively. Led by champion Joel Hetrick and podium contenders Bryce Ford, Jeffrey Rastrelli, and Nick Janusa, CST's Pulse MXR tire is the most trusted tire in ATV motocross today. Available in soft and standard compounds, the Pulse MXR offers the highest level of traction, most predictable cornering, and superior wear characteristics when compared to the competition. And did I mention they have a contingency program as well? Visit shop.csttires.com to join the CST takeover today, or prepare to be beat by someone who did. The best of the best choose CST. Do you? You know we're Team Blue Crew here at the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, as the Yamaha YFZ450R is the official ATV of Digging Deep. In a move started by 8-time ATV MX Pro Class National Champion Chad Wienen, who with his next championship will become the winningest champion in ATV motocross history, we are living in ATV racing's YFZ450R era. Alongside Wienen, 7-time GNCC XC1 Pro ATV National Champion Walker Fowler welcomed a pair of new champions to the Yamaha Champions Club, as the podium-proven Yamaha YFZ450R proved to be the winning choice for Joel Hetrick and Bryson Neal. This unprecedented success for the YFZ450R, its unrivaled quality and performance, and the clear fact that Yamaha is the leading OEM supporter of ATV racing has resulted in a complete Yamaha takeover within the sport quad market. Evident by the continuation of Yamaha's Blue Crew Racer Support Program, Yamaha riders will once again cash in on payout and prize opportunities in 2023, including a chance to win a brand new YFZ450R. For more info, head over to YamahaBlueCrew.com. Follow Yamaha Outdoors, as well as the new Blue Crew official channel on social media, and check out Yamaha's full proven off-road lineup at YamahaOutdoors.com today. SSI Decals, your way. SSI Decals sets the standard with the best looking decals, graphics kits, and vinyl wraps in the industry. Established in 1947, SSI took shape as an offshoot of their parent company by doing a little work for local pro Chad Wienen. Nearly 2 decades later, and fueled by a passion for ATVs, the company has flourished into one of ATV Moto's most recognized brands. From ATV Motocross, SSI has expanded into graphics and design work for top racers in GNCC, Works Racing, Pro Motocross and Supercross, Off-Road, and more, headlined by 8-time world champion top fuel drag racer Clay Milliken. Whether your project is big or small, SSI Decals will make your identity stick. Get started today at SSIDecals.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 for 10% off at checkout. Things are about to get sick. The Digging Deep ATV MX podcast is brought to you in part by DID and their wide range of championship-winning chains. From the street to the track and everywhere in between, DID chains are designed to give you the optimal riding experience with great performance and increased chain life. Consistent to the core, pick up your box of reliability today. DID, what drives you? Coming out of the gate in that opening moto, it was all Mason Jackson, man. Mason Jackson rips the whole shot, leads early. Joel is going to eventually make the pass here pretty early on and try to make a break for it and get out in clean air and all those things. But yeah, Mason Jackson, fun to see him rip a whole shot and be out at the front of the pack. And he looked comfy up there. And honestly, I mean, spoiler, he goes on to finish second in this moto. Billy, that was an incredible ride there for I know one of the guys that you cheer for.
Yeah. I was really pumped. I was standing there with Ron, his dad, and it seems like every time Mason's doing really well, which has been a lot recently, somehow along the fence, Ron and I end up right next to each other. So it's kind of funny that every time we're there. And it's cool because you can tell Mason's one of those guys, you can tell when he's having fun riding the quad, because it shows, and he just looks that much better. And that first moto was definitely one of them. And getting that start and leading there for a few laps and stuff, I'm sure that helped, because he was on the gas and he looked good.
Well, and to be in clean air like that on a track, like it wasn't full mutter, but it was wet, and it was one of the tacky, like they had the track totally wore in by the end of that moto. That said, like that's that mud that very sticky. There was a little rain coming down or mist coming down, drizzle during that moto. Like most of the guys, I think, ended the moto without goggles.
Almost everybody.
Exactly. And the other thing that was fun to see, like you had the bigs versus littles going on. Like not everybody was on bigs, not everybody was on littles. So you had that gamble going on. I think Mason was one of the guys on bigs. Joel's was on smalls. Brandon was on bigs. Max was on smalls, I think. So within the top 3-4, you had, a little bit of everything going on. So Joel's up front making a break for it. Mason is in second at this point, ends up bringing it home in second. Brandon throughout really showed something to me, especially knowing he was hurting. He threw his goggles on like lap 2.
Yeah, I was going to say it was early.
Yes, it was either lap 2 or lap 3. He's only like a second off of second and a half, 2 seconds at most, and at a point in the moto behind Mason. He's goggleless. He's hurting. He's, and whatever. And then from the back comes Max Lindquist outside the top 5 or 6, races up, and he was a freaking ripping and gets up to Brandon. And to me, it looks like he's going to rip through Brandon. And Brandon, who in recent weeks, having him on the show and in the conversations, we've learned, if we didn't already know, how good he is at listening to a rider behind him and picking up on the lines. And that's exactly what he did to Max, is he was able to weather the storm by knowing, because Max had a couple lines, some insides where everybody was going outside that were so much faster than what everybody else was doing. And Brandon was able to pick up on those throughout that first moto and weather the storm and hold off Max, who at one point, it looked like Max was going to the front. He was going so darn fast. And Brandon was able to hold him off and weather the storm there. So it ends up going Joel, Mason, Brandon, Max, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Brian finishing out the top 5 was Wesley Wolf, who ran inside the top 5 for the duration of that opening moto. And he was one of the guys saying coming into the weekend that this might be the end for his pro racing career. I'll believe it when I see it. But we saw some really good racing in that opening moto on a track that really came around as the moto played out.
Yeah, it really did. And just as you were talking about Brandon, I actually talked to Brandon. I think it was Friday evening, since, practice was canceled. Everybody was kind of mingling about and talking and stuff. Yeah. And I had asked him, how he was feeling, how he was doing. And if I'm not mistaken, he had said that he hadn't even ridden. He tried to ride, right before he came to Briarcliff. And he said that he was pretty sore. Like, he was worried about being able to keep his wind long enough for the moto. And I think that one of the things that stood out to me during the moto, that I'm quite sure that was very honest words spoken from Brandon, was he had just talked about in I think the episode with you from maybe Baja, about he never looks back. His parents, he never looked back. Both him and his brother, they just didn't do it. And if you noticed at Briarcliff, like every big jump, he was peeking over to look to see where Max was going and where he was at. And he was keeping tabs. I actually seen him one time where he picked it up because he knew Max had some speed or was showing some wheels or something. And he actually picked it up and pulled away a little bit. But you're right. I could tell that he was paying attention. He picked up on those lines really well. And for his sake, it was probably pretty lucky that he did, because like you had said, credit to Max, he had some lines that were just blistering fast. And the way he came through that field and caught them guys, I thought if he can keep the same pace, like if those guys hold their lines and do what they're doing, he's got 2 more passes in him, that he was going that fast. So Brandon definitely picked up on those and put the stall out there on Max's progress with that. But that was a great race. I mean, those guys, I was really surprised the way the track developed and the lines that they made and what they found to make it that racy. Because for Max to come up through the way he did, and Wesley had a battle back there with those guys, like they were in a dogfight for a while. So yeah, that was really interesting. It was a great race to watch, and like you guys have both said, there was some sprinkles. The track got a little slippery. Then it came back around and it was back and forth. I seen goggles being thrown all the way from like way early, like you said, all the way down to like next to the last lap. So yeah, there was a little bit of everything that moto. It was very interesting to see the different dynamics that was occurring.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, you hit on something I wanted to make sure I touched on, and I missed it before, was Brandon definitely picked it up when Max got to his grab bar. And that's a tough place to be, where you're trying, because you could tell like he was trying to not be right on Mason's grab bar because of the goggle situation. And then he had Max right behind him and he picked up the pace, got to Mason, and they were really in a freight train, and he was managing all that without having goggles for basically 20 minutes. I mean, it was very impressive.
I'm sure he was hurting.
Not an easy thing to do. Plus being hurt. I don't know that we referenced it yet, but it was it's like a rib chest situation. Like if he's got some cracked ribs or broken ribs or whatever the case. So gutty effort by Brandon for sure, but it was all Joel Hetrick out front. Mason obviously holds on to second in the moto, which is a killer moto finish for him. So Hetrick, Jackson, Hogue, Lindquist, and Wolf was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that opening moto. So moto 2, Joel Hetrick. I think it was moto 1 where Joel tried the way outside gate. And yes. Yep. So, and we saw that a little bit throughout the day Saturday. And because we saw it with Lily and WMX, like we saw it in a number of classes, but it seemed to never really work out because you're coming in way too hot. And that is some of what happened to Joel. Yeah. Billy, you did it too. So Joel still came out okay, but it wasn't like your typical Joel Hetrick hole shot. So moto 2, I don't think he's way outside in this one. He was more on the inside and kind of just controlled the first corner like you would expect. Coming out of that hole shot, shading Joel, was Zach Decker and Mason Jackson, 2 and 3 in this one. And this was really the return, Billy, of Zach Decker, the Zach Decker that we saw a little bit earlier in the year. I mean, he ran up front, like kept pace with Joel for a little while, ran inside the top 3 for most all of the moto, and was really racy and really competitive throughout. Brandon eventually makes the pass. Zach comes back on him, makes the pass back. So like he was very racy. And I mean, our focus by the end of this episode is going to be on Team USA and the Quad Cross of Nations and going to France and that whole deal. So for Zach to really end the season on a high note when he was so strong early, that was a really encouraging thing to see, and I was happy for him.
Yeah, I was too, and that it was cool to see him ride to his potential, like we know that he can,
and scrubbing, and he was fast all day.
He looked the part. He looked comfortable, and he rode his ass off that second moto. It was really, he did, like you said, it was nice to see. I'm glad for him. Kind of shake off some of them bad finishes and stuff he's had recently, and the bad luck and everything else. And I was pumped to see him up there because he belongs up there towards the front for sure.
Agreed. What about you, Brian? It was cool to see Zach up front, put a smile on my face. And again, like, it's been a while since we've seen him up in the top 3. So like, I mean, if he would have gave Brandon the spot when Brandon got by later in that race, I mean, it would have been understandable. And he did not do that. Zach raced him hard, got back by him. Brandon ends up with the spot later as the race gets into its final stages. But again, Zach Decker, very different. We saw a very different Zach Decker specifically in that second moto than we did in any of the recent races.
Listen, I'm just going to be honest from what I've seen, the ATV racing nation out there, whether it was on purpose, inadvertently, it definitely happened. It affected the young kid that, we're talking about at this point in time with all of the internet fiasco that went on. It was something that he wasn't even in control of. And it goes to show you, it's so mental. And for everybody to say the negativity or have the negative stuff that came out and things that he didn't deserve, yes, there were things that could have been done better on certain people's parts. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just going to say that none of it was Zach's fault. A little bit of bad luck occurred. And then some personal matters at Baja. I give him all the credit in the world because I wouldn't have been able to race at Baja. If people knew what happened and understood how important certain things are in life, I wouldn't even have been able to be on the track at Baja with what he was dealing with. So for him to come back and be at Briarcliff and shake all that stuff off, be back in a good position, have his family there in good health and backing him up where he could just do what he loves to do, which we've seen you guys both mentioned, the way he rode, his style, the scrubs, everything he did, that was the Zach we seen at the beginning of the year, the carefree, the, go for it, like something to prove Zach. We got that personality back because he didn't have to worry about all the outside things, or he finally had enough time to let a little bit of it go to concentrate on that race. And he deserved that. And he rode like how we expect him to. And I'm going to say it, there's more there. Like that kid has so much potential. There's more there. Like he's showing us some of it, but I guarantee you there's more that we can see and wait for to come from Zach Decker in the future, because I truly believe he has all of that and more in him as far as talent goes, speed, the right people, the right, parts, everything that he needs, it's there for him to utilize. So we know he's going to take advantage of it. We just have to support him and show him a little bit of love that is out there, that we know is there. And, he's representing Team USA now. So I don't care what happened before. That wasn't his fault, but we need to get behind him and give him the love and the tender push that he needs to be back in front.
He deserves the love and support from the community. Everybody. He does. Yes.
And I think we're seeing some of that hopefully start to shift. And Billy, we had a cool conversation with him on Friday when he was by us. So you're talking about, he's obviously got selected for Team USA. He's one of the gnarliest, fastest ATV motocross racers on the planet. And he was being so vulnerable with us. Like, hey, thank you for all the nice things you're saying. Thank you for the support. Thank you for having that conversation with Brandon and, giving Brandon a voice to support him. I mean, all the things that are so authentic and cool. And you're talking about a cool cat and somebody who's so legitimately gnarly on a four-wheeler. And a lot of times a younger kid, so gnarly, like, I mean, he doesn't need that from me. And yet he was like, thank you for,
and it was genuine.
I just thought that stuck with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it also shows that he needs it,
Yeah. Cause honestly, I don't know how many people out there listening have had a conversation with Zach, like an actual conversation, not just like a, hey, here, sign my thing or whatever.
And that's kind of why I wanted to say that.
Yeah, because, and to anyone that hasn't, he's one of the like nicest, most genuine, respectful kids there is. And that's why I think it bothered him the way people were talking, because, he is genuine and respectful and nice and doesn't deserve what people were giving him.
And for some reason, I don't think that that's what the general public that doesn't know him thinks about him.
No, they don't. You can tell just by how they act, because if they knew him, they wouldn't act that way.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I mean, his whole family is so genuine and just so down to earth and want to be helpful. Look at all they do for the sport. I mean, the Decker training facility and how much they do and how far they go out of their way, especially like you guys are saying, if you know him. And, you guys got to understand too, all of us have guys that we look up to when it comes to racing, and guys that, are pillars, at least I feel, of the community. And you got to remember, Zach is young. He's impressionable. He's vulnerable. He's still maturing in my mind that, he's gathering information. So I genuinely think, if he's talking to you guys and saying those things, he's looking up to you. He's looking for support, and the people that are giving that to him, it's so necessary because, like I said, we see it in sports all the time about how they say how much of it is a mental game. You can see a kid that was affected by it.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to build him back up. because him at his strongest peak mentally and physically, I've yet to see what he's capable of.
Yeah.
So he deserves that. He really does. So the whole family, I talked to some other members of his family, and they were hurt and affected by it. And I could tell, and they don't deserve that because they didn't play a part in any of that.
No.
So, I just want to make sure everybody knows he deserves so much support and uplifting love to get him where we need him for where he's going to be. He's on the world stage at this point. So think about that and think about how some people may crumble under those pressures.
Dude, it made the hair on my arm stand up when, with a smile on his face, Brandon said, Zach's going to crush it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I don't know, with all the hostility and everything like that the ATV racing world has had towards this, but definitely not on the inside with Brandon and Zach and the teams and everything. Like, that's definitely not what it's like. But just to hear that and have that be the reality for that situation was, that's a really special thing, man.
Like, when other people, they don't see. Also, we're at the Bartosik race. Brandon gets hurt. Zach's the one taking care of Brandon. Yes. Zach takes Brandon to his hotel room so he has somewhere to stay for the night before his flight the next day, so he can help him throughout the night and the next morning and get all his crap together and whatever. And I'm like, people don't see that side of it either. You know what I mean? They think it's
taking off his boots, doing all the things he did. Yep. He was like literally anything he could do for him. He was helping Brandon because Brandon was in pain and like couldn't move a lot. He helped him with everything.
And then these two are duking it out in Moto 2 at Briarcliff against each other as it comes back full circle. For over 150 years, Valvoline has been dedicated to constant improvement and innovation across all disciplines of racing. As a proud member of Team Valvoline for nearly a decade, I have witnessed their unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of performance. Valvoline has sponsored some of the greatest names in motorsports, solidifying their position as a powerhouse within the industry. Being a part of this historically great team has been an incredible privilege. When it comes to my equipment, whether it's my daily commuting vehicles, race quads, or anything in between, I trust nothing but Valvoline. Their range of products and lubricants consistently deliver increased horsepower, durability, and engine life. I'm excited to announce Valvoline's breakthrough in performance, Valvoline Ultimate Power Sports. With up to 8 times stronger rust protection and 50% better wear protection, this cutting-edge formula ensures your ATV's engine runs smoother and longer for the ultimate ride. Tackle rugged terrains with confidence, knowing your ATV's engine is equipped with the best protection available. Ready to experience the next level of performance? Head over to shop.valvolineglobal.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 at checkout to unlock an exclusive 10% off on your purchase. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to enhance your ATV's performance with Valvoline's Ultimate Power Sports engine oil.
Hey everyone, this is Larry Mills, president of DP Brakes North America and proud partner of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast. We at DP Brakes are a longtime supporter of ATV racing and the world leader in sintered brake technology, dominating the ATV world for decades by supporting the best four-wheeled racers on the planet. This year's lineup includes Jeff Rastrelli, Mark Baldwin and Baldwin Motorsports, Ford Brothers Racing, Nick Janusa, and many more, including Mr. Digging Deep himself, Cody Jansen, plus all the top 17 GNCC pros such as 7-time champion Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, Adam McGill, and previous champion Chris Borich. These top riders continue to appreciate the high performance and impressive durability that their DP brakes have to offer, products that ultimately help place them on top of the podium week after week. DP brakes are available through www.dp-brakes.com, or you can purchase them through your local Parts Unlimited stocking dealer, or you can even message us, myself, Larry Mills, or DP Brakes on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have any questions about product or sponsorship support, please ask us. We are waiting for you. Join the best ATV riders in the world equipped with DP brakes, and have a great year, everyone.
Headlined by the 4130 Chromoly, Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply is a full-service steel supplier of new and surplus steel, aluminum, and stainless steel products. This racing family-owned full metal service center and concrete product supplier comes with over 30 years of experience serving the entire United States from their central Midwest location. As the number one choice for nationwide shipments and with available next-day delivery in select areas, LSE has you covered near or far. 4130 is not just the chromoly tubing and plate used in the building of chassis for an array of motorsports applications, but it is also the name of the newest addition to the Pro Paddock, with riders Jaden JJ Launderville and Max Lindquist, introducing the new 4130 Motorsports team. Launderville Steel offers a large selection of material for any project, including their concrete division that can supply everything you need to complete your next business or personal project. For a quote or more info, visit laundervillesteel.com today or give them a call at 715-675-6193. That's 715-675-6193. With a desire to keep you in the race, Ultimate Poly Products offers the Ultimate Protection Collection of case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Founded on quality in 1998, this family-owned and operated business produces products created by racers for racers. These industry-leading products are proudly made and manufactured in the USA, with their case savers being made of the highest quality American-made polyurethane on the market and designed to completely conform to your engine case to help prevent case damage from a thrown chain, because no one wants to be a spectator on race day. Join top pro riders like Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, John Glotta Jr., Adam McGill, Cole Richardson, and more by using UPP Racing products. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com to save on your next order. Ultimate Poly Products, made to last longer so you can ride more. Thanks for listening, and remember to support our partners. Now back to the show. And then these two are duking it out in Moto 2 at Briarcliff against each other as it comes back full circle. So yeah, that was cool. So shifting gears to Max, because Max rode incredible in that.
What a
moto.
day for Max.
And really the whole season has been better than any season he's ever had, especially late in the year here. He's been really, really strong. Back-to-back second overalls is how, these last two races go for him. But Billy, what did you say to him before that second moto? Because you did something to wake this guy up.
Actually, this time I can't take credit for it. He did this one all on his own, and man, he didn't need it, because it was almost like he had something to prove also, because late in them motos, like I think it was the first moto, we were watching the lap times, and there was around 5 laps left or something like that, and he was running between a second and a half and 2 seconds faster than almost anybody other than Joel.
Yeah, he was flying.
And when he made it to Brandon, he came almost like we knew he was moving through the pack, but it was like out of nowhere he was on him. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe Brandon held him off, because I thought, like you said, if he kept that up, he was going to the front.
That was first moto, and then second moto. Yeah. Second moto, Max makes the pass and takes off and finishes second. Yeah. I mean, it was sayonara. Yeah.
He was on a different level this weekend for sure. And it's cool to see him ride so well, 2 races in a row, 2 completely different styles of track. And it's not like you can't say, he was really good in the rough. Well, yeah, he was really good on the hard pack too, so.
Yeah, he crushed it. He's been so strong of late. He was a fantastic pro coming into this year already.
Yes.
With double digit podiums ish. I mean, he's fantastic. That being said, he really spread his wings, I think, this year. I feel like we saw Max come into starting to be really like in his prime, obviously the pro class is none of it's new anymore. He's raced all these guys forever, all these things, but like every gate drop, he expects to be, on the podium
in the front.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know, that could have been the same last year. He could have had those expectations. We've seen him podium in the past, all the things against all the guys. So say what you want about the class. He's done it against everybody. But this year he really, really impressed, especially down down the stretch here. So Max was awesome. So like we talked about, Brandon would be left because Max makes the pass. Brandon's left to battle with Zach, eventually making the pass stick for third, and Zach will have to settle for fourth, which again was a great showing for him to end his season. And one thing we haven't touched on yet in this second moto is Wesley Wolf and Mason Jackson. So Mason Jackson did start in the top three. He ends up, fifth or sixth is how he basically spends this moto, battling to the death with Wesley Wolf, which is not where we said this on recent episodes as well, but like anybody but Wesley Wolf. And we even I talked to Ron about this later in the evening. And he's like, man, I told Mason that, Wesley, he raced you like Wesley does, but he was fair to you. He was clean, all the things. So Ron thought it was totally fair. He was good with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wesley Wolf and Mason Jackson, who Mason again finished second in that first moto, but they spent the moto battling to the death for fifth and sixth. And Wesley Wolf ended up getting the fifth spot. Mason Jackson ends up sixth in the moto. But yeah, that was a battle to watch. I couldn't believe we didn't see one of those guys grenade themselves or something, because they were going for absolute broke in this moto. Like, there was battles going on at the front, but honestly, the most fun battle to watch was those two guys.
I mean, if Wesley's battling with anybody, it's fun to watch because my man hangs it out. It's incredible to watch.
Well, and Kevin and Brian, I'll let you jump in there, but Kevin, the other announcer guy, obviously hasn't probably seen Wesley riding or whatever. So he's like grabbing my arm and, because Wesley's, revving that thing to the moon as he does. And he's overshooting stuff by a mile as he does. And whatever he's in. So Kevin's grabbing me and he's like, jumping up and down. He's all excited. And I'm like, that's just another day at the office for Wesley Wolf.
I was cracking up because I was listening and I heard him say something about, wow, did you see him jump that? And it was like that one little single coming around the start. And Wesley sent it like, I couldn't believe he didn't get stuck in the mud where he sent it to, because I'm like, where did that come from? That was so far out there. And then he went over Bigfoot, and he threw a big nasty scrub so he could get to the outside. And Kevin was freaking out like, oh my God, did you see that? I was like, dude, that's Wesley Wolf. He does that all the time.
Ryan, it's probably because Wesley heard you on recent episodes saying, Wesley's not quite in form yet. He's not revving it like he normally does. He's not throwing around like he normally does. So he just needed to give you a little taste.
Oh, it was there, dude. I was all for it. Because like you said, that was the coolest race on the track. Those guys were going back and forth. And Wesley was, man, he was just sending it. I appreciate it. I do. I love his riding style and just him being the dog he is and just letting it hang out. Like, that's just so cool. That's another guy that when he's having fun, because he's just going for it.
He does it like nobody else.
Yeah,
that's
we know, we've said that. Like, he hasn't been riding like Wesley, and he's like, yeah, I'm keeping it contained, maybe, under wraps for another, race or two. And I've been waiting for it, and there it was. We finally got the Wesley that we all know and love and expect. So I can't see him getting back into form and then hanging it up. So Wesley, if you're listening, I'm calling BS on that. You got to come out and let it hang out a few more times, pal.
I hope it's BS.
I really do. Like I said, I really enjoy watching him and what he brings to the track. Just his personality too. He's so funny. So that's cool.
Yeah, he rocks. He definitely, like I said, he hinted at that this may be the last one, but I feel like, and I think I said this on the broadcast, we've heard that a number of times at this point. So I'll
how many years in a row is that?
Exactly. I'll believe it when I see it. As long as JH,
I think he just wants us to throw him a party.
Exactly. Yeah. Going away party, a retirement party. He'll be back though. He'll be back. He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
I'm sure he threw his own party.
So yeah, that was a great battle to watch. But in the end, Joel Hetrick, another win, the 84th of his career, 1-1 on the day, had already wrapped up the title, polishes off title number 7 with another win. I don't want to call it a whole hum day for Joel, but it was just one of them days. Like, he clicked off another win and he's got that record up to 84. So that's incredible.
That what number it is? 84?
84. Yep.
Wow.
84.
So we could see 88 next year.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we got to
88's
do something
coming.
special for 88.
88's coming, and David had reached out at one point and said, "What are we going to do special for 88?" So presumably, middle of next season, we're going to be at 88. And
there's got to be something.
Got to do something big.
Hopefully somebody comes up with something really out of the box, really cool.
Well, we're thinking about it early here, so yeah. I hope so.
We'll talk
sure
off air.
It'll be big. I'm sure it'll be big. Yeah. Max Lindquist, we talked about it, goes 4-2 on the day for second overall. Back-to-back second overall finishes for him, which is awesome. 16th podium finish of his career. And Brandon Hogue polishes off a stellar season for him. Unbelievable season for him with 3-3 scores and his 24th overall podium of his professional career. Going down the list here, Mason Jackson goes 4th overall, 2-6 on the day. Incredible first moto, whole shot award, all that stuff. So Mason really had a strong day. I'm sure he would have wanted to been on the box again like he was at Baja. Actually came in with back-to-back podiums. But yeah, 4th on the day for him and another good showing. Zach Decker, 5th overall, 7-4 scores. And we talked about how good he was in that second moto. So Zach did really well there to put it in the top 5 to complete his season. 5-5 on the day for Wesley, 6th overall. So the math didn't work out for him there. But great ride for him. 5-5 for 5th overall. Joey Norris goes 6-9 for 7th overall. And I don't even know that like means that much, because if anybody was watching Joey Norris and Noah Arnold, who we'll get into Pro-Am and how that factored in here, but both of them were not trying in the second moto. Joey cruised around and was doing whips and tricks,
gooning
and no-footers and all the stuff. Yeah. Looking at the crowd, and he did that and still finished 7th overall on the day. So credit to Joey Norris there. Adam Ulrich goes 10-7 on the day for 8th overall. Adam, I said on Saturday as well during the broadcast, but Adam deserves a ton of credit because he really put together a season that was really good for him right from the beginning.
He took a big step forward.
He did right from the beginning of the season, being up in the top 5 mix at Deckers, and then had a really good showing at Etchicani as well at times. I mean, he really came around. So Adam Ulrich deserves a bunch of credit as well. Noah Arnold, we talked about him a little bit already, and we'll get into what was his biggest race of the weekend for both him and Joey as the Pro-Am class. But again, it was funny though. Like he finishes 8th in the first moto, 10th in the second moto, but Joey was the first one to check up in the second moto. And I'm very curious if he was watching to see what Joey was doing to save themselves for that second moto. I'm very curious because Joey did it first. And then it was like, as soon as Noah saw Joey checking up, then Noah went right to the side of the track and was like, I don't need this right now. So yeah, it was very interesting to see how that played out. And I would like to know more. Maybe we'll figure out in the wake of this whole thing. Heath Hanna goes 11-8 for 10th overall. Cale Deal goes 9-11 for 11th overall. And he must have had a problem in the second moto, because I saw him standing in the infield watching that second moto. And Marshall Smith, who I don't even think was there. I don't think he was there. Maybe he had something else going on. But he must have pre-registered and then DNF. So I didn't see him at the race.
Weather might have scared him.
Yeah. Or I think they maybe maybe a family thing or something. I'm not sure. So yeah, hopefully all is well there. But yeah, he finished out our list. So we talked about the points already. Joel Hattrick wins the title, of course, title number 7. Brandon ends up being way solid at the finale, more than solid enough to clinch second in the points. Max Lindquist ends up 3rd in the points, all kind of alone in the 3 spot. Mason Jackson finishes 4th for, I believe, the 2nd consecutive year. And Zach Decker is going to round out the top 5 in points after being 2nd and 3rd and being up front in the points early in the season. So I feel like that was really the pecking order, honestly, as the dust settled. And that's what you want the points to show, is kind of that pecking order. And that's how it ended at the end. Hattrick, Hogue, Lindquist, Jackson, Decker. The other thing I want to touch on is Noah Arnold. So Joey Norris finishes 6th in points. Noah Arnold, the rookie, finishes 7th, and that will wrap up Rookie of the Year for him. So credit to Noah. He crushed it in his rookie season. as a professional. And guys, I don't know. Well, no, before we get into the Pro-Am class, the last thing I want to touch on, because we give away a couple awards at the end of these seasons. One, our Rising Star Award, our Dane Molander Rising Star Award, and we can touch on that as we get into those classes. But the other one is the Most Improved Pro Award. And that's something I'm really proud of, because if that award would have been in the mix while I was a pro, that would have been something that would have meant a lot to me if I was in the mix for said award. So in the end, do you guys have any guesses on, because we do it by the numbers, right? We do it comparing points, year over year points. So do you have a guess on who ended up winning our Digging Deep Most Improved Pro Award?
Most Improved Pro. So do you factor in like how they started at the beginning of the year to the end of the year? Is that what you're saying?
Last year versus this year. And none of them, there's no outliers. Like there's nobody that was like hurt and then gained a bunch of points. Like it's all straight up and very fair. And it's a really cool list. Like there is, I will tell you, there's
I'd say Adam would stand out.
That's a good one. So I'll just tell you these are the guys that all improved versus last year. So obviously there's new additions to the class. They're out. If you didn't gain more points than last year, you're also out. So Brandon Hogue, Max Lindquist, Mason Jackson, Zach Decker, Joey Norris, Adam Ulrich, and Marshall Smith and John Glotta, all better than they were a year ago. So your Most Improved Pro is going to come from that list.
That would be Brandon.
You're making it tough because there's too many criteria as possibilities involved.
The criteria is simply you're better than last year.
But that's so hard because, when I'll just give you first, quick snaps of what's going through my mind is Brandon has always had speed, but Brandon hasn't had consistency because of what may be equipment or whatever's going on. Yeah. So I can see that being a huge step forward because of this year, his finishes and his consistency, was such a big improvement across the whole team effort.
So you guys both mentioned Brandon, and I will tell you that he's the second most improved pro.
Oh, 90, I thought for sure it was him.
90. I thought it was going to be him too. 94 points better than a year ago.
And then I would say the next person that really stands out to me, though, that really made a great showing, and I felt like, just going to the races and being a part of the mix, I even with a little bit of bad luck, it's such a huge jump that we seen on the track was Adam. Yep. Adam, really stands out to me as getting his program himself.
Agreed.
As a rider.
I knew that he was going to be in the mix too, and he's the third most improved pro.
Is it Zach?
So Brandon was 94 points better than a year ago. Adam was 61, which is a really big number. Because you gotta imagine too, like Brandon's scoring more points on the weekends than Adam is.
Yeah.
So that also is a factor, though. We've never had a very like top level guy win this award. Which is why this means this is a really cool award to me. Zach won it a year ago. Cody Ford's won it in the past. Wes Lewis has won it. Like we've had a number of. I mean, it's again, cool award. When I handed it to Zach last year, I'm not doing the banquet this year. So typically we held on to these till the banquet. And then that's when I'd surprise the winners with them. And Zach was really stoked about winning it last year, but it's not going to necessarily be a surprise this year. So the other one that you brought up is Zach, and Zach was the fourth most improved pro. 59 points better than a year ago. So just behind Adam Ulrich at 61.
Joey.
It's Joey. So Joey Norris. Joey Norris is the guy. Joey Norris was 99 points better than a year ago. Joey Norris finished sixth in points. He finished, top five at a number of races. Fourth at that race, a few races ago. He was third in the moto, fourth overall. I believe that was Pleasure Valley, right? So he put together a really, really, really strong season. And sometimes, and that's why I think this is a cool award, because sometimes if you're fifth, sixth, seventh, something like that can be lost in the this pro class. It can be. And Joey put together a really stellar season where we haven't seen him that far up before. And this year he was in the top 5 mix, and he's going to go home with the Digging Deep Most Improved Pro Award because of it. And it's deserving.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool.
And it was tight, 99. So Joey Norris, 99 points better. Brandon Hogue, 94 points better. Adam Ulrich, 61 points better. And Zach was right there, 59 points better. And then the next one in line to complete our top 5 was Max Lindquist, who was 48 points better than a year ago. So all those guys, very deserving. And it's cool to have all these names be names that improved from a year prior. That's a really
That's
cool
all impressive. That's impressive from every single one of those riders.
Yeah, I would agree. So I was excited to get into that. But maybe the next thing, guys, and we probably could have led or should have led the show with this, is the Pro-Am class. So, and that is where we are going to hit pause on this one. Like I said, part 2 will be coming in the next couple days with the best yet to come. Major thanks to this week's featured guests, Billy Cottage and Brian Jenkins. Thanks to producer Dallas Jansen, my brother, for all his hard work. Thanks to my wife, Brooke, and thanks to AMA officials Harv Whipple and Joe Messina. And thanks to all of our donors. A special shout out and thank you to Motomom Designs for doing our shooting at the races. Thanks so much, Megan. Thanks for a great season. Thanks to all of our partners. CST Tires. Go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, DP Brakes, and Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing. Use code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com. Support the brands that support our show, and don't forget to use those codes to save. Find it all on our website, and be sure to click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner for all your gear and parts needs and to help us out. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. Shop our Digging Deep merch at shop.diggingdeepatvmx.com. Find all things Digging Deep ATV Fantasy related at atvfantasy.com. And if you are looking for another easy way to help support us, visit our website and click the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee buttons. This allows you to set up a one-time or monthly contribution to support our efforts. Follow the show on social media, Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and myself, Cody Jansen, for additional content, coverage, and more fun stuff, as we are now officially in ATV Motocross's off-season. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Wherever you find podcasts, you'll find the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast. All episodes, additional podcast providers, sponsor links, and discount codes, show merchandise, fantasy info, and more can all be found on our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com, so check that out today. Be a friend, tell a friend, please download, subscribe, rate, review, and share. And with that, for Billy Cottage, Brian Jenkins, Brooke Jansen, Dallas Jansen, and I'm your host, Cody Jansen. Thanks for listening to and making us the most listened to podcast in ATV racing, with more than 305,000 downloads last month in 151 total countries. Until next time, thanks for joining us in Digging Deep with the Stars of ATV Motocross. Things are crashing and burning here at the Digging Deep podcast, much like the Titanic.
Those guys were hauling ass, for real.
I remember watching Doug Gus, I don't know who it was, Steel City, running the same times Friday afternoon as James Stewart was on Sunday back then. It was mental. I've never seen quads go that fast.
Quadlers are freaking gnarly.